Hey, hello world. Welcome back, peoples and persons, to Dante's Derivatives. Today we're going to be learning more cybersecurity. So if you want to learn cybersecurity, you came to the right channel. I want to teach you guys basic Linux. Very, very basic Linux. And the first thing we got to learn is how to handle a file in Linux. Let's get right to it. All right, the first thing you're going to need, obviously, is some version of Linux. I'm using Kali Linux, and I'm in a virtual machine right now. Let's open up our command line. And as you can see, I'm in my command line interface right now. And the first thing I'm going to do is figure out where I am in my directory. Where am I in my file system? So I'm going to type the three letters PWD, which means print working directory. And this is going to tell me where I am in my file system. All right, so now we've ran our pwd command to print our current working directory. And we see that we are currently within the Kali directory, which is inside of the home directory, which is, of course, inside of the root directory. And the root directory being the highest directory in the directory tree. So we know where we're at in our file system. We're in our Kali directory. Now I want to list this directory. I want to see all of the files in this directory. So we're going to type the two letters ls, and that's going to show us all of the files in our current directory. These blue files are actually directories, and we can go into those and see other files inside of those as well. These green files are executable files. .exe means that it can execute something. And if you notice, this says hello YouTube.exe. So I'm pretty sure this file is for us. Let's check it out. We're going to type the words file. This command, the file command, tells us information about a file or a directory. So I want to see what this hello underscore YouTube.exe is. So I'm going to run file on it. And Linux immediately tells me hello YouTube.exe is an AC text file. So apparently there's some text inside of here. I want to run this command. So what I'm going to do is type a period, a forward slash, and I'm going to type the file name. And I'm going to hit enter. And it looks like some text actually outputs to the screen. Because this was an executable file, it actually executes something. So the text that came out says, hello, Smarty Pants. Thank you for learning Linux with me. I do very much appreciate you guys for learning with me. It helps me, and I'm sure it helps you. At least I hope it helps you. All right, so the good news is we're going to make our own hello underscore YouTube.exe. The bad news is we are going to remove it so that way we can make it in our own directory. So let's remove it with the two letters rm, remove hello underscore YouTube.exe. And Linux immediately removes it. And we can check that, remember, with the ls command. We're going to list our current directory. And it looks like we don't have our hello underscore YouTube.exe anymore. So we successfully removed it. All right, let's keep moving. So I've run into an issue. I have a bunch of text on my screen, and I want to clear everything out. So I'm going to do just that with the command clear. You just type the word clear and hit enter, and everything on your screen clears out. So, and we remember that we are in the home/Kali directory. Since we're going to make our own hello underscore YouTube.exe, we're going to make our own text file, I want to also make our own directory. So let's change directories here and go to a location where there's space, where we can make our own directory. Because if you notice, when we list this directory, it's kind of full. So what we're going to do is type the two letters change directory. We're going to change directory to /home because that's the previous directory from Kali. So let's list this directory, the home directory. Looks like the only directory inside of it is Kali. So I'm going to clear my screen. I'm going to list this directory once more so you can see what I'm doing. And now we're going to make a directory. I think we're going to call it YouTube, just to be appropriate. Make directory, let's call it YouTube. All right? And that command, once again, is mkdir. That stands for make directory. We're going to hit enter here. And I think we ran into an error. Let's read it. Make directory. Cannot create directory. YouTube. Permission denied. Permission denied. This is my computer. I should have all permissions. Well, unfortunately, until you configure that in Linux, you don't have all permissions. So there's a very nifty command called sudo, which means super user do, which gives you the permissions of a super user. What we're going to do now is we're going to say sudo make directory YouTube. Sudo make directory YouTube, so that way we can have super user permissions when we're trying to make our directory. We're going to type in our password, and I'm pretty sure it was successful in making that directory. It looks like it was. All right, so let's go ahead and change directories with our change directories command into our YouTube directory. I'm going to clear my screen, and you can actually see that we are in the YouTube directory. I'm going to list to see if there's anything in here, and there's not currently anything in here. We can show all files with the ls-a flag. The -a means show all files. And we can see that there is actually 2 hidden directories in here that don't show up with a regular list command. These 2 different directories are here so that way we can change directories in our current directory, and we can also change directories into our previous or parent directory. So if I do cd ... we see that we end up in our home directory or the parent directory to our YouTube. Now, if I cd back into YouTube and I hit cd ... you can see that we stay in the current directory. So ... is parent directory and is current directory. That's something you'll want to remember. It'll help you with your change directory command. Now let's clear the screen here. What we're going to do now, like I promised earlier, we're going to make an executable file. In Linux, to create a file, we can use the touch command. So you just type out the word touch and then type the name of the file that you want to make. In our case, we want to make helloyoutube.exe. And it looks like we're going to have to use sudo here because we're getting that permission denied again. So sudo touch hello_youtube.exe. And if we list this directory, this YouTube directory, we can see that we successfully created a hello_youtube.exe file. Now, if you noticed, this file is not green. Therefore, it's not an executable file. Now, what that means is that this file does not have executable permissions. And what we can do, let me show you exactly what I mean. We'll use the ls-l command. The -l means long listing. So this is going to allow us to see hello.youtube.exe, this file's permissions. And we can see that this file does not have any executable permissions. You would see the letter X in here if it had executable permissions. So we need a command to change the permissions of this file. And I will show you that right now. In Linux, we use the change mode command, chmod, to change the permissions of files. So I want to add permissions to this file, so I'm going to put a plus sign, and I want to have executable permissions. But I also want to be able to write to this file and read from it. So I'm going to put an R for read, W for write, and X for execute permissions. So now I've added read, write, and execute permissions to my helloyoutube.x file. Looks like I'm going to need the sudo command once again. So I'm going to keep the same command as before and write sudo before it. So that way I have super user permissions when I'm actually running this command. So let's make sure that this worked. It looks like it did. My hello YouTube.exe file is now green, meaning it has executable permissions. Now I'm going to run the file command on hello YouTube.exe to see what kind of file it is. Looks like it's an empty file. It has no text inside of it. Now we're going to need to add some text, and I will show you how to do that right now. So to add text to files in Linux, we're going to use the nano command, but we're also going to need to use sudo first. Because we are adding text to a file, we're going to need to use sudo along with the nano text editor command. So when we run nano on our hello YouTube.exe, you can see that a text editor comes up, and you can see that we are now adding text and other types of data to our hello_YouTube.exe file. So now we want our executable file to actually output a string of characters to the user screen, or just our screen. So we'll use the echo command, so that way Linux will actually echo out a string of characters or a phrase to our screen. So you can actually ask Linux to echo out whatever you want, but I'm going to thank you for watching and learning. So I'm going to type thank you for learning. And now Linux will echo out thank you for learning to our screen whenever we call this hello YouTube.exe file. So to save this, we're going to hit the button Control and S. So hold Control and hit S. And now hold Control again. To exit, we're going to hit Control, hold it down, and hit X. Now let's run the file command on our hello_YouTube.x. And it looks like now it doesn't say empty. It actually says that there's AC text inside of it. So remember when we ran this file earlier, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to run hello_YouTube.exe, and it should echo out thank you for learning on our screen if we did everything correctly. And I know we did because we're all super smart. Thank you for learning. Awesome. Now the last command I want to show you is the cat command, C-A-T, which is short for concatenate, which will actually output all of the text that is inside of this file to our command line. So even the commands that are inside of it, it'll output all of the text, all the data. It'll output it to our command line as standard output. So we can see even the echo command shows up when we use the cat on our hello_YouTube.exe. But this cat command is a good way for reading the text or data that's inside of files without having to run the file itself. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in and learning how to handle files in Linux, which is very, very important in the cybersecurity world. Everything is a file in Linux, so we have to know what we're doing. We have to know how to handle them correctly. I'll see you guys in the next cybersecurity video. Thank you so much for learning. Adios.